Hi everybody, it's Dara, and I woke up today with a really very strong feeling to make a very hard video today, and it's about raw food, it's about hope, and it's about depression, and it is in honor of my brother Bobby, whose birthday was today, February 18th. And some of you may have seen, there's a video on this channel titled A Sad But Important Raw Food Video, and it was made on the day that he passed. He's my stepbrother, and he suffered from heart issues, and he passed, and it was really important for me to talk about health and preventing disease. And also, today's video, I didn't really go into it in detail last time because it happened that day and I didn't know how my family wanted to handle it. And I'm not entirely sure how everybody in the family wants to handle it, but I am a truth teller because I really, really believe that the truth sets us free. The truth is so healing, and the truth is raw food. There is nothing truer than eating fresh dill, fresh kale. Lies are packaged chemical foods, and foods that have chemicals that are not supposed to be in our bodies, and that our bodies are constantly trying to get rid of. Foods that will age us, and the foods that will cause serious harm and dis-ease. So while I always talk about the beauty of raw food and how gorgeous it is and how much it makes us feel young and vibrant and gives us great energy and prevents disease and detoxifies our body and it makes us feel incredibly libidinous, all of those things, our eyes get whiter, our weight becomes to our optimal, we get to our optimal weight, skinny, fat, whatever, we're at our optimal weight. It's health. It's all about health to me. And so I never talk about depression, but I need to today because it's a disease just like any other disease, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. There's a lot of people that we know who are depressed, and there's all different kinds of levels. So today was Bobby's birthday, and I need to really talk about depression because he had it, and he ended up I can say that he passed from heart issues, and depression to me is a heart issue, and taking one's life is a heart issue. So he did, and I want to talk about that because it's a very real thing that happens in a lot of families, and it's easy to say, oh, it didn't happen, but it's not the truth. And the truth is that depression can be so severe that somebody can want to take their own life. They can have no hope, not be able to even see hope in the future or see a beautiful butterfly and feel a lift. And so what I want to talk about today is the fact that I know, well, raw food isn't everything, okay? I'm not going to say that raw food cures everything. Raw food is the first thing. It's the first step to getting well. Now, of course, with depression, there's behavior that's attached to chemical imbalance, right? If we have a chemical imbalance in our body and we've had it a long time, then we learn methods of coping, numbing ourselves with prescription medicine and prescriptions, alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever it is, shopping, people numb. And so the food is the first way to handle getting our body back in balance, not having the crazy sugar cravings that the parasites are craving. So when we eat a diet high in alkalizing food, we get rid of this acid. We're not eating the animal. When we're eating a plant-based diet, we're not eating the animal that's causing a lot of acid in our body and the adrenaline from the animal and all of the imbalances. So we want to get back to a state of homeostasis. We want to get back to a beautiful natural balance for our bodies. Now, that being said, some people may be so severely depressed that they couldn't even imagine getting out from under the covers, right? And that, my friend Linda and I were talking, and she reminded me of something that I once said to her. It wasn't about depression, but it follows suit for everything. It follows suit that if you can just do one thing in the direction. And she's like, but raw food's complicated, and I gotta make the curry sauce and this sauce. And I said, no. It's not that complicated. It's as simple as eating this, okay? This apple has fiber, it's organic, that's important. right? We don't want to eat the nasty chemicals and pesticides because they will affect our brains. They'll affect our liver, and when our liver is not functioning properly, we're not getting proper oxygen flowing through our organs, and guess what? Our hearts and our brains, the intelligence centers that help us to make good decisions, need to have nutrients and need to have proper oxygen flow. It's the chi, it's everything. So look at this. Pretty much everyone can find an apple. Pretty much everyone can find a big bag of organic apples. Okay, so if you can make it out to get something out of the house, to get something or anything, you can make it to get organic apples. And if you eat these organic apples for an entire meal and just eat a mono meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, by the next day, your body chemistry is going to change. So, yes, I'm saying the apple, the apple can be, the beginning of an amazing life. Of course, we want the greens too. So, Bobby, my stepbrother, was, he was a pharmaceutical rep years ago. And years before I knew about all of this, this video might be a little longer than normal, but years ago, I really want to share this because I want people who may be depressed to feel hope. I want people who may be dealing with someone who's depressed to kind of get a handle on what I would do, or what, some thoughts to kind of inspire, and also for people to know to eliminate the shame around this, because it's real. And if we can share this, then maybe we can help somebody else that's suffering. So Bobby was always kind of depressed, and we always kind of called him Bitter Bob. He was funny. He was really funny, and he was really handsome. He had a great smile, and he was amazing in the kitchen. So he was a pharmaceutical rep, and that's got to be, you're pushing drugs. And it was back in the day when everything was all about the pharmaceutical companies paying the reps to treat the doctors really well and take them out to fancy dinners and buy things, and it was legal back then. And so Bobby had a fancy job, but he didn't do it that well, or something happened and he lost his job. And when he knew he was going to lose his home, and when that happened, he planned to take his own life. And there were offers of raw food. When he had his heart attack a couple years before he passed, he had a beautiful cousin named Jill, who brought him raw food to the hospital and explained about sprouting and raw food and wheatgrass and all of those things. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's such great hope, because Bobby is amazing in the kitchen. And if you can spend time preparing in the kitchen, then you can be an excellent raw foodist. It's the sky's the limit with the things that we can create. Cakes and drinks and juices and recipes and pizzas and I just thought, oh, Bobby will be the best raw foodist. And he had the kind of mentality, when he lost that job and he had his really nice home in Florida, he had the mentality. I said, Bobby, for a job, you're so great with pets. He was so great with pets that he trained his parrot to go potty over the toilet on command. He was gentle and kind and so good with animals. And I thought, get a job in a pet store and live in a studio. And he's like, oh, I couldn't lose my house, and I don't want to lose this. And it was like status. And I thought, be happy, be happy, be happy. And that was years and years and years ago. I'm like, it's better to be happy, because when you're happy and you're in that pet store and you're surrounded by the pets and you're happy, somebody could come in that could be a love of your life, and you're going to be exuding all of this joy because you're doing what you do best and what you're here to do. And so what if you're living in a small apartment as opposed to a big house? This whole paradigm thing has to shift. The thing that we think that a white pill is going to fix us, and we think that a big house is going to make us happy, because it's not. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I've had big houses, I've had teeny little whatevers, I've had no money, I've had a lot of money, and happiness does not come from the things, okay? So, years went by, and there was a lot of, diet soda. I'm not going to name which ones. Diet soda, diet iced tea. And then he had a heart attack, and his cousin Jill, and I called him up and I said, of course, I'm so sorry. Can I help you learn raw foods? And he said, no. And I said, why not? And he said, well, I'm eating the chicken, I'm eating this. I go, well, Bobby, at least if you're eating chicken, eat the ones without the antibiotics and hormones. And, and he said, no, it's too expensive, and I'm going to eat this chicken. And I was like, well, okay, what you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink, and you can't as far as expense, you know, my parents would have helped him out, and they were helping him. So it was just one of those things. And I realized that some people can't afford, and they're depressed, and they can't even imagine to make the money to afford organic food, or never mind get out of bed to go get it, or get the job, to get the food, to get the money, whatever, the whole thing. I get it. I get it that not everybody's fortunate enough to get this, but celery, apples, carrots, we can get those. So that's why I'm suggesting mono meals of those things until we can shift. And also, if someone was recommended, if they could get themselves to a doctor and they're recommended medication, I'm not one to tell anybody what to do, because I would certainly try this first, but I know that Dr. Amin, who studies the brain, has centers where you can get your brain scanned, and they can see if there's a head injury, or if there's a certain area where there's a certain something needed. And by all means, listen to an expert. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just sharing what I believe and what I feel happened in my family, and what might be able to shift this way before it gets too far and it's too bad. And nobody's saying that eating a lot of leafy greens, fiber, and apples is bad. So this can never, ever be bad. If you're on medication, getting off medication, don't want to be on medication, this can't be bad for you, provided it's organic. So Bobby just didn't want to do it, and I was like, okay, you know. And one Thanksgiving, you guys saw the video, I went home for Thanksgiving, and my mom was nervous. Both Bobby and my mom were alive at the time. I think it was like 3 years ago. And Bobby and my mom was nervous because she knows where I come from. I come from this, and she knows that Bobby will just, you know, argue with me about it, and sometimes it's a bit of a debate, but I'm rather quiet. I don't really get loud with those things. I just do my own thing. But she said, I have good news. Bobby wants to prep chef. He wants to help you, because every year at Thanksgiving I'd spend hours and hours in the kitchen making raw food for myself and my mom, and enticing whoever was there. And that year was the year that my dad decided to not have any turkey. And you can see those videos. Please look for them, because it's really interesting. And you can see how Bobby ate my food, and he loved it, and I was so happy. He didn't really want to prep chef, and he fought about the turkey, and he was, you know, unhappy about a lot of stuff. But I'm going to tell you what I saw. And I'm going to say that I saw the toxins in his body. This is the difference between a gorgeous, smiling, bright-eyed, blue-eyed, beautiful, handsome Bobby from our younger years, and yours went by after all the medicines and the different drugs he's tried, and the different this is the part that gets me, is that he would alternate, and he was overweight, and he would alternate between going to the sink with the tap water with a big plastic bottle, and at the bottom was a powdered diet iced tea, and he'd fill up that and he'd drink it. Then I'd see him at the refrigerator with a diet soda bottle, drinking that. And so he alternated all day. And I'm going to tell you that those chemicals will affect your brain. They will affect your mood. I don't care what anybody says, if we're putting that much chemicals, we become toxic, and it's hard for us to think clearly and work from the heart. So that's why detoxifying with these gorgeous foods, it's just like, why not? Why not try this first? Why not incorporate this into our world so that we can give ourselves a natural shot? So then he loved the food. You can see him. You can see Bobby in the video saying he ate like 3 helpings and he loved it, and I was so happy. It was interesting. It was an interesting Thanksgiving. It was kind of hard. You could see my mom and I made the stuffing. It was hard because there was like an energetic like opposites going on. But after that, you know, I always hope, there's always hope that somebody can get into it. And then when Bobby lost his house, he decided to take his life. And I think that, you know, the depression not only affects him, it affects our whole family. You know, it affects poor Herbie. You know, burying a child is like, I think the worst thing that could ever happen. It's like, ugh. And he wasn't going to do it. He had talked about it to his friends, and he wasn't going to do it, but you know, until after Herbie was gone. But obviously his pain was so severe. So I really want whomever is feeling that kind of pain, or even close to it, or even mild, to get help, because there is help, right? There's help to be had. There's pets to cuddle with. There's fresh fruit. There's rebounding. There's sunshine. There's a list of things that we can do to help alter our body's chemistry, right? Sunshine, it's like a doctor vitamin D. We have rebounding to move the lymph, to move the cells, to get the chi flowing. Certainly we have naturopaths and doctors. We have fresh flowers and candles and baths and children and puppies and walks on the earth, to the beach, to the mountains, camping. And I think that if we could get in touch with nature more, and one of the things is eating the food straight from the earth, we can be more in tune to how we're supposed to be. So a lot of people who are thinking that the standard American diet that's fed to us or available to us at every corner market, at every restaurant, even the finest ones that are not serving organic food, we think that we're okay because everybody else is doing, but guess what? Everybody's getting sick. There's cancer. There's depression, there's heart disease. He had heart disease. So how can you think clearly if no oxygen's getting to these important intelligence centers? The heart is more intelligent, is as intelligent, if not more than the brain. We need blood flowing. We need, in the blood, we need no bacteria, no fungus, no invaders that don't belong there, so that our white blood cells are so busy, our white bloods are so busy dealing with these toxins in our blood that when germs come along, we can't even fight it. So like this stuff cleans the blood. Beets, I have beets in the refrigerator. Beets clean the blood. We have Chinese herbs we can use to lift the mood. Reishi. We have Hosho Wu. We have that one, which is like it's like a youth drug. So these can be our medicine and our drugs, not the stuff that's manufactured that's going to do all kinds of weird things to ourselves. So, happy birthday. I'm doing this. This is a really, really hard thing to come out with because I don't know how other people are going to feel about it. But I only know that it's the truth, right? It's the truth that people suffer from depression. It's the truth that there is help to be had. Therapy help, decluttering help, feng shui help, food help, peace, love. There's love to be accessed if we can be awake enough to get it. So if somebody is so poorly bad off that they are in bed under the covers, they need an intervention. They need help. They need, a bag of apples and consult a therapist on what to do, a naturopath. There's so much spiritual and physical help available, and I do not think it's uncommon. So, all that being said, we don't get to choose when somebody leaves this planet. How, what, where, when. Blessings to people who are suffering, and blessings to the people who have been left by people due to certain things. And when it's a soul's time, it's a soul's time. So we get gifts from them. Look at Bobby gave me this gift from me being able to see from the time I met him from when I was 10, the way of thinking, the way of eating, and I adopted a different way, right? And I was opposite. And I fought for the no diet iced teas in the house. No, don't drink them. And I'd get arguments. It's fine. It's bullshit, what you're saying. And I guess I could say bullshit. It's my channel. And I just wasn't loud, but I quietly went along my way. And at the end of my mom's life, okay, this is a hard day, I had a dream last night that I tried to help her. She called me to help her, and it was too late. But at the end, I asked my mom, and this is usually the kind of thing that I only put on more with Daryl, but I'm going to say it here, because I know there's a lot of you who can go this route. You can just say, I'm choosing. I'm going to listen to Beverly, my mom. I'm going to listen to what happened with her. I'm going to listen to what happened with Bobby. I'm going to listen to the message that's coming in so strongly all over the place that it's time to take care of what we put in our mouths and clean our colons. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to go this way. So my mom, before she passed, maybe a couple of days before, I knew she was leaving, and I said, do you have any message for Jada, my daughter? And she said, tell her to listen to her mother about food and to leave the baggage with us, which I thought was so profound. It's really simple, It's dill, it's cilantro, it's kale, it's chopping it up with a little lemon juice, a little olive oil. It's just apples, it's just bananas. It's just simple food. So if you can get to a farmer or you can get to a store and buy yourself, please, all of us right now should just eat apples for lunch. It's not just for people who are depressed. There's nothing wrong with just having apples for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. So this video was not to depress anybody. It was something I needed to do to shed some light on this, and share my belief that little white pills aren't the magic everything, okay? And that there's nobody saying that adding this and this to your diet is bad. So nothing I'm saying is bad. Nothing is saying don't do this or don't do that. I'm saying add, okay? Add this. See what happens. Make my One True Thing green soup. I'm about to make a soup with apple and all of this stuff and some avocado to make it creamy. Go watch my One True Thing. It's ridiculous. I'm wearing a cute t-shirt though. It's the Eat Raw, Live Long. No, it's I forget which one it says. It's from Hail Mary. Anyway, I'm wearing a red t-shirt. I got crazy little bangs, but the soup I made is top of the line food that if you eat that every day, you're going to be feeling good. So here's to good moods, everybody. Here's to life is for the living. And if we can share this video with someone who might get a little bit motivated to shift, that would make me happy. That would make me happy. That would lift my mood. And videos lifts my mood. So do the thing that makes you happy and more of it and less of the things that don't. Okay? So I love you guys for real. Happy birthday to Bobby. I'm sending big hugs and loves to Herbie. He doesn't know that I'm making this video. I don't know how he's going to feel about it, but my truth is my truth. And if I can help somebody, I think he'll be happy that I'm helping people. That's his favorite thing that I do. My favorite thing. It's the truth. So the truth is the truth. I love you guys. I will see you soon, and definitely